This is an interesting fight. Next up at UFC Vegas 56, we have Alonzo Menifield taking on Askar Mozharov. Alonzo Menifield is 11-3 overall. He's only 2-3 in his last 5, and he's coming off that decision loss to William Knight. Askar Mozharov, look at this record. He's 21-11. But he's not. That's his updated record. I'll show you on the next slide here what his record was just a few days ago. His record a few days ago was much better. It was 25-7. They took 4 of those wins, looked at him and said, oh, these aren't wins. These are losses. Moved them to the loss column. All of a sudden, all these early bettors that laid a ton of money on Askar looking a little foolish because you can't always trust Tapology. But Askar Mozharov is 21-11 overall. He's 4-1 in his last 5, and he's making his UFC debut after a year layoff. Alonzo Menifield has great power, great takedown defense, and is looking to take your head off with every single punch. Historically, the knock on him was his cardio, and we have definitely seen him gas in the past. But in his fight against Ed Herman and even in the loss against William Knight, he showed that he can keep a pace for 15 minutes. Alonzo Menifield has power, speed, athleticism, an 83% takedown defense, and now he has cardio, which together makes him a pretty dangerous guy inside that cage. Askar Mozharov is an athletic striker with a good amount of power. He's not the most technical striker, but he does put power behind pretty much all of those strikes. He has okay pure grappling, but his takedown defense is just literally strength-based. There's not real technique. His hips aren't where they're supposed to be. He's just using his muscles to try to keep this fight in his feet. It's interesting, and I'm not, there's no narrative here. I'm not trying to accuse anybody of anything, but look at Askar's physique right now. Look at him just a few years ago when he was a 185-pounder. He looked like Jacob. Now he looks like this. Very quick turnaround, very quick bulk up. And then he gets the call up to the UFC, and he took a full year off before coming in. I know nothing. This is analysis based off pictures. I feel like something's fishy going on, and there were some substances involved here. That coupled with the fishy record thing,
he actually looks like the Liver King. You know the Liver King guy? You see him?
Yeah.
I think he just eats liver. He just eats testicles and all sorts of stuff. You eat testicles, right? I mean, recreationally, not as like a hobby.
Anyway, Askar, the record thing, that's new. That literally just happened today.
Woo, red flag.
Plus the physique thing, that's a little sketchy because I almost immediately picked Askar against Menifield because he's powerful. He'll bang. He's actually pretty creative with his strikes. And I basically thought this would be the Alonzo Menifield-William Knight fight that we thought we were going to get, not the decision. But the more I dug into it, I saw the first-rounder bust tendencies out of Askar. Now we know the dramatic size increase. Now we know his record is a little fishy. But Menifield being knocked out by St. Preux, that worries the hell out of me because Mozharov throws with absolute intent. So I think this is a really close fight. I am going to pick Alonzo here because of the UFC experience. There's just too many unknowns, too many red flags with Askar here. Betting-wise, I bet one full unit already on the fight does not go the distance. It's minus 350. Traditionally, I would never bet a minus 350 because that's just too wide. But if you watch that betting video I did with Chris Riley, we talk about converting these odds into probabilities, and you look at it that way. And a minus 350 bet means it converts to 77% probability. So that means, do you think, this is a real question to you, Jacob. Jacob, do you think this fight...
I don't think this is getting out of the first round. So I'll let me cut you off.
More than 77% of the time. So I don't think this fight goes to the distance 90% of the time. So minus 350 sounds like a lot, but once you convert it to probability, 77%, yeah. 100%.
I would put 3.5 units on that to get a unit back, honestly. I mean, that seems like the safest bet. I don't think that... I literally don't see this getting out of the first round. Were you done? I didn't
Go
know
ahead.
If,
yeah, no, do your breakdown. I'm done. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, we mentioned there's so many red flags with Askar. Did you pick? You picked Alonzo, I assume, right?
I did, but let's be real. He can get knocked out, no problem. This is another fight. I said in the last fight, nobody's a genius here. I can offer the insight. I can raise those red flags. But Alonzo Menifield gets knocked out. He makes some poor decisions in fights, but he also hits like a freight train, and we know Askar's record is fake. So that's why I bet the round, and I'm not betting on the fighter themselves.
Yeah, his record is fake, and if you look at some of the people he's fought, those guys look like they have never fought. You mentioned the 185. He looked like he's fighting me in some of those fights. Like, he comes over, just blitzes forward, throws these wild bombs, knocks people out, and then you look at the people he's fighting, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, that's typically what happens when you fight somebody at that level. You know, we talked about this earlier today, Angelo. For some reason, I cannot stand Alonzo Menifield. I don't know what it is. People talk about it in the chat about his fight IQ, the way he got knocked out by OSP, the way he was kind of getting manhandled a little bit by William Knight in that fight. You know, Ed Herman. I don't like Alonzo.
I thought he looked good in the end. You and I did talk about this. I said he looked good against Ed Herman. He had cardio. He controlled that fight.
I would hope so.
Ed Herman's a vet.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope you look good again. If you're looking like that, Alonzo Menifield, I would hope that you're looking good against, fluffy Ed Herman. But there's something about this fight that I know there's so many red flags about Askar. He's gonna come over and just blitz Alonzo Menifield, and something is going to happen in the first round. And I'm gonna take the aggressor in this fight. I see Alonzo Menifield, eyes wide open. Let's fight. It's going to be like, oh shit, because this monster of a guy, neck tattoo. We'll see how he looks Friday on the scale.
Yeah, let's see how he looks.
This is definitely one of those scale. Let's check the scale, see if he's looking a little loose, looking a little flabby, see what the nipples are looking like.
Yeah, exactly. A little deflated.
So we'll see what he looks like on Friday. We might, make sure you tune in Saturday. I might change this pick, even though I agree with what Angelo said. This is like one of those fights where it's like, who the hell knows what's going to happen? Alonzo Menifield, if you cannot beat this guy, I don't know what the hell you're doing, because this guy's just going to come forward. The counters will be there. He's not a technical guy. He's not a cardio guy. He's not a wrestling guy.
Way he caught. Oh, never mind. I was thinking of William Knight.
Yeah, there you go. So, if you cannot beat this guy, you shouldn't be in the UFC. This is tailor-made to, but I mean, he throws some wild shit. So I'm going with Askar. The red flags are there. I understand it. We'll see how he looks Friday. I'm going to take the aggressor. I just can't stand Alonzo Menifield as a fighter.
Listen, I like Alonzo Menifield as a fighter, but I hear you. Listen, pick your side here in DraftKings, because no matter what side you're on, you'll get your money's worth, right? If Alonzo Menifield wins this fight, he's worth $8,700 for sure. It's going to be a knockout. If Askar wins this fight, well, that's a great $7,500 to spend. So whoever's winning this fight is going to get a knockout, and they'll get it out. They'll get it somewhat early, so they'll get some solid. You'll get some solid value out of them. Are you going to throw Askar in your lineup at that price?
He's definitely a multi-lineup, but probably not for my single entry, I would say.
You've won our Friends League 2 weeks in a row?
I think it's been like 10 in a row.
Yeah, okay. This week off destroyed you, I'm sure. There goes all your mojo. The Monkey Knife Fight strike line, I'm not touching it. I think these guys swing actual wild, so I'm not going to touch this strike line here. But if you want to touch it, weonpicks.com/MKF. They will instantly match your deposit. Take their money. You give them 20, they give you 20. Take their free 20. Spend it on some lines. They're free money. It costs you nothing. It's completely risk-free.
I think this is a less 100%. If you want, there's one highlight for Askar in a boxing ring where he gets pushed up against the ropes. He's throwing bombs in a boxing ring, getting his arm caught on the top rope and throwing bombs with the rope on his arm. It's crazy. Literally, he doesn't try to get it loose. This guy is so untechnical. Literally, the rope is caught, and he's just like, fuck it. And just keep throwing bombs with the rope on his arm. The guy is wild.
Well, that rage will do that to you. And if you want 50 free bucks, weonpicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you.